Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. This is vlogmas day 4. I originally put on these glasses to look more studious because this video is about studying and finals, but there's a glare, so we're gonna have to say goodbye. Anyway, I'm gonna put the vlogmas prayer on the screen. Let me read the verse. It is 2 Timothy 3:16, and it says, "All scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness." When you feel lost or lonely or whatever it is, the Bible is always the way to go. So I'm going to put the prayer on the screen. Maybe pray about your finals, that they go well, because that is what we're talking about today. There you go. All right, as I said, we are talking all things finals today. I am a sophomore in high school. It is my first semester, and I counted it up so far in all of my life. I've taken 6 rounds of finals, all of which, I'm just gonna put it bluntly, I hated. I do not like homework. I am against all of that stuff, and I have never really met anyone who likes tests. If you like tests, you are a lucky individual, because I personally am not a fan of them. However, in today's video, I have combined all of my knowledge. I even took a class on Skillshare, all about exams, studying, and test taking to prepare for this video. And I'm just gonna be dumping on you all of my biggest tips. Please watch till the end of the video. You don't wanna miss anything that I'm saying. And also, I have free printable study schedule templates. They're super cute. I made them adorable. I was gonna sell them, but I was like, you know what? It's the holidays. Everyone's already paying for gifts. You don't want to pay for that. So make sure to watch the whole video through, because at some point I'm going to be putting my study schedule templates on the screen for you guys that you can screenshot and use for yourself. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to start off with actual studying tips, and then I will move on to test taking tips, things I learned from my own research and the masterclass, and then at some point I will talk about the study schedule. First of all, this is probably generic and you've heard it, but it is to take care of your mind and body. I know so many people just cram the night before a test everything into their brain and either don't sleep or get a very minimal amount of sleep. Please, guys, please sleep, especially during finals. Mentally, our brains are working so hard to just be filled with so much information. Please remember to take care of your body and keep up with a workout routine if you have one, to release any stress. Do what helps you relieve anxiety, and make sure you sleep, because you will not perform well on a test if mentally you are neglecting your health. The second tip I have for finals, especially when studying, is to use Roger Hub. I'm going to put a screenshot of what the website looks like on the screen. This is not sponsored or anything, but I have used this website, I don't even know how many times, quite a few times with big tests and finals. You're able to calculate the grade that you need or want, and that personally gives me a lot of confidence, because I'm like, okay, I need to get, let's say, a 90 or an 82. Anyway, all that to say, I'm able to prioritize what subjects I should be studying if I need to get a better grade on that one, or whatever else, depending on what my final grade will be after I take the test. Tip number 3 is to learn and understand how you study best. For me, I understand and learn best if I am doing practice quizzes, because I'm able to over and over again quiz myself. So for that, I love using Quizlet. This is my next tip, is to use Quizlet if you are the same way, or if you don't have somebody who can test you. My parents are both really busy, and every once in a while I can give them a study guide and they will be able to test me on whatever subject, but a lot of the time they have their own stuff going on and I have to test myself or make flashcards, and doing it digitally is a lifesaver because it takes half the time, and you can actually import from a study guide onto Quizlet, which is genius, and I just recently learned that. So please take advantage of that because it's going to save you so much time. Anyways, going off of that, I think it's really important to figure out the way you learn the best. If it's somebody else quizzing you, actually filling things out, hard copy if you get distracted by your phone or computer being online. If you're an auditory learner and you need to listen to lectures or YouTube videos on certain subjects, or if you're even a kinesthetic learner where you actually have to be touching things and seeing things in motion. For example, with science, you might have to watch videos of experiments or get your own supplies to do that in order to touch things and be able to understand. It's really important to remember that everyone learns differently. And another thing, I'm just going to jump into this now, even though this is a tip from a little later on. Go to your teachers if you are struggling. It is literally their job to help you. It's what they're getting paid to do. So don't be afraid. I, especially in elementary school and middle school, never wanted to go to a teacher and ask them questions because it made me feel stupid or incapable until I got it through my head that that's literally their job. Most teachers, unless they are rude and mean, want to see their students succeed. Another idea of a way that you might learn better is through study groups. Don't be afraid to get your friends together because it's going to benefit all of you guys if you are studying together, and it might help you understand something even more if you're able to discuss it with somebody. For example, with math, I'm always comparing my answers to friends on homework to see if we got the same thing and figure out what we both did wrong. All that kind of stuff might help you even more. My next tip is to organize your studying schedule, and this is where my little study schedule comes in. I'm going to put my templates on the screen after I talk about this. In my opinion, actually organizing it out and having blocked out times to study makes me a billion times more likely to actually sit down and do it. When I'm uploading this video, it is December 4th, so you might only have 2 weeks before your finals, but this is my study schedule template for 3 weeks before your final. You can put in your subjects on the side and organize when you're going to study or write things in. And I would say about 3 weeks before a major exam is the best time to determine your ideal method of studying for a certain subject and create practice questions, fill out study guides, do quizlets, etc. I would say about 2 weeks before a major exam is the time to memorize the basics, use those best methods of studying to grasp the major points of each subject, begin to understand, and lastly, 1 week before is the time to just master everything. Now that you know the basics, it's time to really grasp the details. This for me is probably the hardest time because I'm just over it. I just want to be on break and be done, but it's the most important time because you are in the home stretch. So here's a little key that I made. I'm going to stick it on the screen so you can organize the subject and the number for the schedule, the test type if you know if it's an essay, multiple choice, a mix of that, your studying methods, and your desired score that you can calculate with Roger Hub. I hope these are helpful for you guys. Please tag me if you use them. If you follow that, I can almost guarantee you will get a good grade if you are consistent with your studying. It works really well for me, and the fact that you're able to customize it to your best methods of studying, fingers crossed, will help you get that A+. So moving right along. This next tip is if you're lacking motivation. This might sound a little silly or stupid, but I saw this on Pinterest one time and it has stuck with me whenever I'm lacking motivation. Main character energy, guys. Imagine that you are the main character in a movie or somebody is filming your life as a documentary. What would you be doing? You want to be that main character in that 2000s movie, on your bed with your highlighters, studying, getting stuff done. It might sound stupid or dumb, like I said, but it really actually works for me. Another thing I saw on Pinterest, in case you're lacking motivation, is from a teacher or professor. I don't exactly remember it, but I'm going to stick it on the screen right now. It said something like, study as if you eat. You wouldn't eat a week's worth of food at once and feel perfectly fine. You should study in small increments, and that will help you to do your best. Anyway, I just figured this might help somebody if you are trying to figure out how to balance out your time or lacking motivation. Next up, I'm going to give you guys a couple tips for test taking day. I would not consider myself a great test taker personally because I get a lot of anxiety, especially if there's a time limit on a test. However, these are the biggest things that I've learned to handle that and get good grades on a test. First of all, as you're going through, especially if it's a timed test, Circle what you don't feel confident about and come back to it at the end. This way you aren't spending a bunch of time on one question that you don't know, and you're able to finish the rest of the test and go back to that question later on once all of the test is finished. Because if you spent all your time on that and were only able to finish, let's say 5 more after because you were just contemplating for 30 minutes, it's gonna bite you in the butt. So I always do that if I don't know something off the top of my head, or I know it's gonna take me like more than 2 minutes. For example, this is like a multiple choice question. I will circle it and go back to it later on so I'm not wasting time. You might already know this, but of course use the process of elimination on multiple choice tests and always go with your gut. Next one, this honestly might go in the studying category, but this is my biggest tip. You guys should have seen. I might have a picture of it somewhere, but if your teacher allows you a note card, take advantage. If you can write really small like I did on this one, no joke, I have never filled a note card so much, and that is what got me through my geometry test, is my 3x5 card that I was able to use. I probably would have failed without it. But if your teacher allows you a note card, like I said, take advantage on it. And if you can't write super small and understand it, print out the information in small text and glue it to both sides of the note card. That way you'll be able to get the most out of it and still understand what it says. Also, just ask a teacher if you can have a 3x5 card. They'll probably say no if it's not explicit, but you'll never, oh my gosh, I'm really having a hard time with my words in this video. You will never know the answer unless you ask. Lastly, of course, always read the directions. Sometimes teachers like to be tricky and fool you. So make sure to read all the instructions, and of course, always attempt extra credit if it is an option. All right, finally, some things I learned from my own research regarding tests and exams. Educationcorner.com says to do a memory dump. As soon as you begin a test, write down information that you will likely need to know for the test that you fear you might forget. One sec. We're good. As I was saying, for example, the memory dump might include formulas for math or equations, dates for history, science, anything like that. Another one, this was super weird. Don't know if it's reliable, but I'm personally going to try it out. Apparently, drinking water before a test can improve your performance by 30%. Who knew? Lastly, a big tip is to take breaks, because experts say that on average, concentration dies around 18 minutes of studying. So keep it alive and give yourself brain breaks from time to time. All right, I don't know if this video is going to end up being long or short. I don't know how long I've rambled on for, but I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope this gave you some practical tips. If you have any other tips that you swear by, let me know in the comments so we can all read it and further our knowledge on test taking. I hope you guys do amazing on your finals, and remember that you're not defined by your grades. What matters is how God sees you, not how the education system sees you. And honestly, I think there's a lot of flaws in the education system. I could go on and on about it. I'm very passionate about it, but that is not the time for this. It is vlogmas, and we can't be stressed out about that. So I hope you have a great day. Happy studying. Never thought I'd say that, but here we are. You guys are amazing, and I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 5. Bye.